The information provided by Trading Forex Price Action to you does not constitute personal financial advice. The information provided is of a general nature only and does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation, or needs. It should not be used, relied upon, or treated as a substitute for specific professional advice.
Midweek Analysis.
Hey guys, this is a midweek analysis for May 26th of 2021. Alright, we'll start off with the Euro-USD pair. This is a monthly chart. We'll start off with an overview. Alright, so since this price action right here is very strong short, and this move still having a ways to go, in the long term, I am short biased right back down to this pivot low right here. However, because of a breakout of this trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here, and that breakout being right here, in the medium term, I'm long biased right back up to this pivot high right here. And finally, for the time being, since there's still a little bit of strength down on the weekly chart, in the short term, I am short biased right back down to this pivot low right here. Okay, let's talk midweek price. Okay, this is a weekly chart. For an explanation of the basic setup I'm looking at, please refer to this week's weekly forecast. So basically on the short term, since this short trade right here was stronger than this long trade, I'm looking for short entries right back down to this pivot low right here. Now I'm currently looking at three situations that I could possibly enter this short trade. Now number one is for a daily and above strong short trade to form, in which case the stop loss will be at the pivot high in which I measure the strength of that strong short trade, with its target being right down here. Now the second option is for compact price action to form on the lower time frames, where the width between each peak is extremely small. Now in this case, the stop loss will remain at this weekly pivot high right here, with the target still being the same. Now finally, the third option is actually the trade I took yesterday, roughly at this 1.2250 level right here. Now its stop loss is right up here, and again its main target is right down here. Now the reason why I took this short trade without those other two options forming yet are for two reasons. Now like I mentioned in the weekly forecast, the last daily short trade was right here, and possibly this daily short trade already hit its target. And when trades targets are hit, price normally just pulls right back to stop out the traders that are still in that short trade right here. However, since we're basing our short trade here on a weekly short trade, in my opinion, this weekly short trade's target has not been hit yet. And that's why I was saying we'll likely get a pullback from this pivot low right up to this pivot high right here. Now, since this daily short trade's stop loss level has been hit already, at a basic level, if all things remain equal, price can fall to our short-term target right down here at any time. So in other words, since this daily short trade stop loss has already been hit, in essence, price does have the possibility to just start falling at any time. Now the second reason is twofold. So since my stop loss for this short trade I took is at this pivot high right here, the amount I'm risking in pips is roughly 100 pips. And by adjusting my lot sizes, I'm okay with taking this level of risk. And the second reason is due to the carryover interest on this Euro-USD pair. If you're shorting, actually gives you positive returns with the carry interest. So no matter how long it takes for price to fall, I'm okay with holding this short position, for the carry interest in this case is on my side. Alright, so one last thing I do want to mention is that I'm always watching the lower time frames for compact price action to form, indicating strong long strength, in which case this does form. I would abort this entire short trade altogether. For if this compact price action does form, it is highly likely that price will go straight up to our medium term target right up at this pivot high. Okay, let's go on to the Nzdusd USD pair. Alright, this is a weekly chart. We'll start off with an overview. So since this move up right here, starting from this range right here, was solely based on momentum, in the long term, I am short biased right back down to this pivot low right here. However, like I mentioned last week, this new weekly short trade was only minimally stronger than this last long trade. Thus, I was mentioning I was going to watch this week's price action on the lower time frame to decide the medium term bias. However, today, price got up to that stop loss level right up here. And since the stop loss level is the main target for this last long trade, at this point, in the medium term, I am neutral bias. Okay, let's talk midweek price. Okay, we'll stay on this weekly chart. Now, if you recall last week, I was mentioning that this weekly short trade was only minimally stronger than this last long trade. And that is why I needed to confirm the lower time frame's price action to confirm this strength differential. Now let me explain to you why this short trade was only minimally stronger than this last long trade. Okay, so the main factor that added long strength to this last weekly long trade here was largely due to this fake double top that formed right here. So fake double tops actually add long strength right up to at least a stop loss pivot high up here. Now a fundamental dynamic that strengthens or weakens a fake double top is how much people will view this double top to be in fact legitimate. So the more people that think this is legitimate, although it is fake, that adds more strength long. Now in this case, since there are two elements that are missing from this double top, one being the amount of candles that it has, and second, this double top not having the correct prior trend. Now since there are so many elements that are missing from this double top, it was my assumption that not many traders will view this as a legitimate double top. Thus that lessened the amount of strength that was added to this last long trade. However, seeing that this last short trade stop loss was already hit, and proving that this last long trade was in fact stronger than this last short trade, the mistake I made engaging this price action was that this fake double top actually added a little bit more strength long than I thought. Okay, so that's one thing to remember, is that the more people view a fake double top as legitimate, the more strength there is added to any long move. Alright, moreover, I mentioned I was going to take a short trade with a stop loss right at this pivot high if price gives a nice pullback and if there's no strong long price action. Now, although this trade was already stopped out, let me show you how I managed this trade on the 1 minute chart. So let's go over there. Okay, this is a 1 minute chart. Now yesterday I took a short position around the 72.35 level. Now up until a few hours ago, all this area right here did not have strong long price action. In other words, compact long price action. However, this unusually strong long price action formed right here. Now as a general rule, if the bias on the higher time frames is very minimal, even if there is no traditional strong long price action, in other words compact price action, if unusually strong opposing price action forms, I would abort the trade. Thus I aborted this trade roughly at the 0.7264 level with a minus 40 pip loss. Now this general guideline I used to abort trades actually saved me about 40 pips worth of losses, because my original stop loss was roughly in this area right here. So a good thing to remember is to have general rules to abort trades, because these minimized losses in the long term actually decrease the amount of losses in your account. Okay, so let's go back to the weekly chart. Okay, so on this weekly chart again, since this last short trade was actually slightly weaker than this last long trade, and that stop loss already being hit, which is actually the main target for this last long trade, for the time being in the medium term, I am neutral biased. Okay, so that's it for the midweek analysis. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, guys, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.